Help me reach 2,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I still remember the exact words on my screen that night. Don't call me. Just 3 words, but they cut deeper than anything she'd ever said before. Emily had been out with her friends, or at least that's what she told me earlier in the evening. I didn't think much of it until her tone changed over text, cold, detached, almost like she was annoyed that I even wanted to talk to her. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 4. And I knew the difference between a normal night out and something that didn't feel right. She'd been distant for weeks, always glued to her phone, smiling at random texts, saying she was just tired when I asked if everything was okay. But that night something inside me snapped. Maybe it was her short replies. Maybe it was the feeling that I was slowly losing my wife to someone else. So when I texted her, "Hey, when are you coming home?" and she replied, "Don't call me," I didn't beg, didn't ask why. I simply typed back, "Then don't come home." I tossed my phone on the couch and walked into the kitchen, heart pounding like I'd just done something I couldn't undo. First I thought I'd regret it, that maybe I'd been too harsh, that she'd come home angry and we'd fight all night. But what happened next made everything clear. 10 minutes later my phone lit up, 30 missed calls. The first few came in quick succession. Then a pause. Then 10 more. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I sat there in silence, staring at her contact photo flashing again and again, my heart growing heavier with each ring. It was almost like the truth was clawing its way toward me, and I wasn't sure I wanted to face it. Finally she stopped calling. I thought maybe she'd given up, but then a message came through. "Please just pick up. I can explain." Explain what? The dinner that ran too long? The coworker she swore was just a friend? Or maybe the real reason she told me not to call, because she wasn't alone. When I finally picked up her call, her voice was shaking. "Michael, please, I'm coming home. Just don't do anything stupid." Her panic wasn't about losing me. It was about being caught. When Emily walked through the door that night, her face was pale, her makeup slightly smudged, and her hands trembling as she fumbled with her purse. She looked at me like I was the one who'd done something wrong, like my silence was an act of cruelty instead of restraint. "Michael," she started softly, her voice cracking. "I can explain." I raised a hand. "No, don't explain. Just tell me why you sent that text." Her lips parted, but no words came out. I could see the battle in her eyes, the urge to lie, to twist it into something harmless. I'd seen that look before, the one she gave when she knew the truth could destroy everything. After a long pause she sighed. "It was stupid. I just needed space." I didn't mean it the way it sounded. "Space," I repeated, my tone sharper than I intended. "Emily, we live together, sleep together, share everything. What kind of space do you need at midnight when you're supposed to be at work?" Her eyes darted toward the floor. I wasn't at work. That was all I needed to hear. I leaned back against the couch, my breath heavy. "Then where were you?" She hesitated again. "At a coworker's place." "But it's not what you think." I laughed, but it wasn't out of humor. "You mean your boss, right? Because his wife called me tonight." The color drained from her face. What?" she stammered. "Yeah," I continued quietly. "She said she thought I should know where my wife really was. Turns out your boss wasn't having a late meeting. He was having wine with you." The silence that followed was suffocating. I could hear her breathing quicken, could see her world crumbling behind her wide, terrified eyes. "Michael, please," she whispered, stepping closer. "It wasn't like that. He's been helping me with a project, and his wife misunderstood. I swear." "Stop." I cut in, my voice trembling now, not from anger but from heartbreak. "Do you even hear yourself? You told me not to call you while you were at another man's house, and you expect me to believe this is about work." Tears welled up in her eyes and she reached for my hand, but I pulled away. In that moment I realized the truth wasn't what hurt most. It was how easily she'd lied, how naturally she'd assumed I'd never find out. Emily broke down, her tears falling hard, but they didn't move me. I'd seen her cry before, over trivial things, arguments, and even apologies that meant nothing the next day. But this time the tears felt rehearsed, like part of a script she'd practiced on her way home. "Michael, please," she said again, her voice trembling. "I didn't want to hurt you. I swear I didn't do anything wrong. I stared at her, studying her face for even a flicker of honesty. Then why did his wife call me, Emily? Why would she even have my number? She went silent. That silence told me more than her words ever could. She saw you two together. I continued, my voice steady now, colder than I thought I could ever sound. She said she followed him when he left the house tonight. She found his car parked outside that little cafe near the river. You remember the one, right? The same place we used to go every Friday before you started working late. Emily collapsed onto the couch, covering her face. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, she whispered. Those words haunted me. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Not it didn't happen. Just regret for being caught. I stood there watching the woman I built my life around unravel. The late nights, the secret of texts, the sudden mood changes. Every red flag I'd ignored now glared back at me like flashing warning signs I'd been too blind to see. You could have told me if you were unhappy, I said finally. You could have said something instead of lying. She looked up, her eyes swollen, mascara streaking down her cheeks. I didn't mean for it to go this far. He made me feel appreciated. You've been so distant lately. I almost laughed. Distant? You mean the distance you created every time you hid your phone? Every time you said you were tired, every time I asked if something was wrong and you said everything's fine. Her mouth quivered, but she said nothing. I took a deep breath, grabbed my jacket, and walked toward the door. You told me not to call you, I said quietly, and I listened. Now I'm asking for the same respect. Don't come looking for me. Don't text. Don't call. Just don't. As I stepped outside into the cold night, my phone buzzed again. Another call from her. Then another. Then 10 more. 30 missed calls later, I finally turned it off. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any argument, any explanation, any tear. That night, mine said everything.